So we're going to start our part 2 core techniques. And the first thing that we're going to look at is how much water to put on your painting and um, what happens when you add more water. How does the paint react? So in this particular exercise, you're going to start by adding a very little amount of water in number 1. So I don't want any puddles of water. I just want a nice, even coat. And then I'm going to choose my color. And the color that you choose doesn't make a difference. And I'm just going to add in that color. Now with this first one, I should get no movement at all of my color. And also, you only really want pigment on your brush. You don't want a lot of water. I might have had a little bit too much water in that first one. So there's no movement happening. On my second one, I want to add a little more water. Again, don't add too much water too fast. Still, I don't have any puddles of water. And then again, I'm going to add my pigment. This time it's moving a little bit more. Washing my brush again. So I have some clean water. And my next one, I'm going to add a little more water to the paper than I did before. Each time we're adding a little more water. And this one you can see it's going to start to move and feather. And as you do this, the more water you have on your painting, the more your colors will move and feather. Again, so the next one I'm going to add more water. Get my pigment. This is going to move even more. I can see the water on there moving around like a puddle. All right, last one. I'm going to put a lot of water on this. And I can see that puddle on there. And with this last one, I might get some blooms. I might get a lot of really nice texture, but you don't always want texture, so it depends on what you're painting. All right, so there I have a change in my amount of water for each one of these. And as that dries, you'll start to see that the ones that have more water are going to have a lot more texture, and these ones that have less water have given you more control over the color and what happens to the texture. But today we're going to use layering to change the value. And value is the lights and darks of a color. So I can take my color first and paint in the entire section. And with glazing, you have to let the watercolor dry before you do your next layer. So if this is my first layer of color, just put a nice wash on there. I need to let that dry and then come back and put the next coat on. This is where a hair dryer would come in handy because you could blow dry that very quickly and then put your next color on, blow dry it, then your next coat, and just continue. But while we're waiting for that, let's move on and do a wash. Okay, a wash is when you take and try to make an even layer of color. So let's say I'm taking we'll use the Prussian blue for this. And I'm going to take an even layer of color. Make sure you have enough water in your brush. Maybe I shouldn't have chosen my Prussian blue because I'm running low here. I've got this little chunk. There we go. Do a nice even coat. That's what you're trying to get, that even coat of color. And a flat brush, which is what this is, or a mop brush, you could also use to do your, to do that wash. This is a style of a mop brush, but you can also get mop brushes that look like this. Okay. Now, if I wanted it to be a graded wash, graded means you can change it from one value to another or from another color, one color to another. So I could, if I wanted to, take another color and start adding that in and slowly taper it. Just cleaning my brush so that I get a change from light to dark or from one color to another. And that is a graded wash. Okay, I'm going to keep using this brush. Now I can come back here and add my next coat because that's pretty dry of color. But I'm only going to fill in 5 of my spaces this time. And you're going to see how as these dry and we continue to add more color, it's going to go from light to dark. We just have to let that dry in between. All right, so we're on the last couple of layers. I'm going to take my pigment and do only 2 spaces. And I'm actually going to cheat and not let that dry, but you should. And then the last layer will go here. All right, so now we can see we've created a value scale from light to dark just by adding those different layers of color. And this is something that you can use within your watercolor painting. Keep in mind, if something dries and you need to darken it, just add that other layer of color and you will slowly get a more rich, vibrant shade.